Kwesh, just as we kickstart the team announcement here too, just your words on Tannie Saartjie.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've had some sad news, in the week. Tannie Saartjie, who worked obviously at the Bulls for over 5 decades, has passed on. Her memory will always live on with everything that we do. She is a superb individual who obviously taught us a lot about the history of the union, and always had a smile on her face. So this infectious smile where everyone was welcomed, from all walks. People that she didn't know felt welcomed here. We want to send our condolences, from the Bulls family to her family, and may her soul rest in eternal peace.
Cool. And then just if you could just start us off on your selection and the thoughts behind that.
The selection was quite interesting in the week, and I say interesting because outside of the match day 30 that we'll have, there's only 4 guys that didn't make it. So if they're not with the Springboks, they're either injured, or they're playing under 21s. That's where we're at as a union. It's quite rare, and it's the same for everyone. We're playing in 3 different competitions in one season. We're going to have to holistically look at the squad numbers. We can't carry on the way we are now. Something's got to give.
Oh, you mean the 56?
Without a doubt.
And how much of the Springboks, like I asked you earlier in the season, but you've now had more Springboks selected, so it upset you a little bit more. And how much does that really upset you? And you said you had 20 injuries last week after the game.
Yeah.
So how many players are left there for your selection? You said 30, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And that 30 includes a couple of under 21s. In that 34 that we've got, and that's where we're at. And it's unique, yes, and I'm sure some of the franchises are also dealing with the same situation. It's something that's going to have to be spoken about as to 3 different competitions, and we want to go deep in every single competition that we play in. We don't take any competition for granted. So yeah, holistically we're going to have to look at something.
Coach, saying that, it's a very strong team. If you look at that, it's a team playing in the Currie Cup, but it's a team that will beat most teams in the URC, I would think.
Yeah, I'd hope so. It is a strong team. You're quite right. We're privileged to be able to pick the guys that we have. It's unfortunate that every week we keep on losing quality players. It's not just any player. I mean, we lost Jaco van der Walt, and we lost Devin from last weekend. And that'll be a big change. Emmy gets married this weekend, so he misses out as well from a selection perspective.
And Harold's probably out.
Harold's also, you understand. So it's almost, that's 4 guys in your back line. So from that perspective, yes, there's those challenges. We're able to still pick a formidable side, which we're confident is going to go out there and do a job tomorrow.
Jan Goosen, will you be shocked? I mean, obviously, I didn't play for a few weeks, but he's an old, experienced customer. You hope that he will be the man in that number 10 jersey.
Yeah, the hunger is shown in the preseason has been unbelievable. He's got a bounce about him. He doesn't stop running. He's got a smile on his face. So he's tough as hell to obviously get a run out as well. Probably the last one of the guys who hasn't had a hit out yet. That's not injured now. So yeah, we're looking forward to having Goose, and obviously the wealth of experience that he brings, especially come to playoffs, will be greatly appreciated.
And just looking at what you're up against, Andre Esterhuizen will bring massive physicality in that 12th channel. It's going to be a big task to play, especially with Francois Venter in the outside channel as well. It's going to be a big ask.
Yeah, they got a couple of boys. Andre, if we're talking Andre, the last time he played was Griquas away there early on in the round. Picked up a bit of a niggle. Now he comes back, and his first game is at Loftus. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how he goes. Yes, he's got massive ball carrying ability. However, he still has to do a job against us at home. So we're well prepared for that.
And you moved David to 12, and Stedman's coming back after long injury as well. That's quite an interesting, like you said, that's one of the interesting, tasty matchups of the match. And David did very well at 12 before he moved him to 13. He's also probably in Springbok contention sometime down the line. Do you think it's a good counter for Andre?
Oh, he's crazy, DK, in just how versatile he is. You know, we were actually chatting earlier on, and you know, he covers anything from 10 right up to 12, probably 1 to 15, to be honest. You know, if you stick him in at lock or loose forward, he'd be at home there. He's a bit of a freak in how comfortable and how easy he makes this game look. Prepares meticulously well. So yeah, we're fortunate to have someone of that caliber in the backs for sure.
And captain is Nizam's captain,
Yeah.
earlier correctly. Interesting. And Marcel was last week. Is this a part of your strategy going forward, you guys, in terms of the USC? Going to alternate captains again? Or you're going to have vice captains like the All Blacks have, you know, a main captain and several vice captains? What are your plans in terms of leadership going forward? Any idea?
No, listen, we've got a really good leadership in terms of the group. And for us, Nemo's done the job in the Currie Cup where he was named captain before, and he's a Currie Cup captain. So nothing different really. So, you know, we're finishing off the one campaign, and then we'll worry about the next in a couple of weeks to come.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question that I've asked you before, but you guys work out the players' minutes and everything to the last second. And now this URC thing with players you're being forced to select your URC team earlier than you expected. How much of an upset was that to your plans, if I can ask you that?
No, listen, the biggest thing for us is the injuries have probably had the massive effect on how we've been able to select going week to week. As it stands, from round one to where we are now, we just announced this out, we haven't had fielded the same team back to back.
No.
There's been at the very least, 4 changes, you know, leave the position each week, you know. So again, credit to how we train, because we train similarly. We don't just put the same people with the same combinations. We try and mix and match so that everyone is comfortable whenever they're training. You know, and that's probably why there's been a lot of chat, you know, from the Shark side of things, from the coaching perspective, about how they know us inside out and how predictable we can be the way we play. So that was quite interesting for me. You know, I'm pretty vocal all week. It's also quite interesting because I was there for 5 years. I worked incredibly close with Dave, who's the forwards coach, the backs coach rather, in the attack. I know Joey intimately well, you know, because he is the defense coach. So I know all those guys, and I worked with them, and Warren was my roommate. So I also know exactly what they're up to, you know, what they'll be thinking. So, you know, it's going to be tasty. And there's nothing wrong. They've put it out there for the crowd now. So challenge accepted.
Coach, lots being said about the Currie Cup competition. I know some people call it a glorified Vodacom Cup competition. It must be nice for the competition, or good for the competition, that you have URC and more senior players and Springboks coming back into the competition at the tail end, or at this stage of the competition.
Yeah, you're going to have to repeat that for me, please.
So it must be nice, it must be good for the competition to have guys like a Johan Goosen and a Andre Esterhuizen coming into the competition at this stage for the semi-finals. And in the past you had it that the Currie Cup teams don't have their Springboks, and then the last 3 or 4 games going into the playoffs, you have the box available. Yeah,
again, that's a tastiness we talk about the whole time. You know, the closer you get to the pinnacle, the air gets a bit thinner, you know, and the guys come out the woodworks. And again, it's credit to the organizers, because we're able to see everyone who's outside of the Springboks at the minute. You know, we're able to see that, you know, every team is probably going as strong as possible. And that's what we want to see, really. Yeah. That's what the Currie Cup, that's what makes the Currie Cup so special. You got youngsters that have been unearthed, and you see in both sides with a couple of under 21 players playing at semi-finals. So that's beautiful to see, you know, and the growth of, again, you've got, imagine this. They've got 11 Springboks at the current minute. They've got another 3 or 4 that are injured. There's another 3 or 4 that are currently playing. So if you want to talk about the formidable, so that's what they've got, you know. They and I think the favourites. Everyone's writing them up as the favourites to come to Loftus and beat us here. So I guess we're the underdogs, and that'll be quite good.
Coach, John Teed has been your defence coach. He's had a long career at Tuks and Eagles in Varsity Cup, and now he's been your defence coach during the season, and he seems to be the one that's going to take over the reins for the defence in the USC. Tell us about his growth during the season, what you've seen from him, and how your defence, do you think, has grown as a team?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with all the assistant coaches really. They've been incredibly good at what they do, and we plan incredibly well. And just to come back to Jean, you can see he's passionate about what he does. He really loves defense, and he's talking about it, and he gets animated. Yeah, I look forward to seeing him grow from strength to strength. Yes, we've been tested a certain way in the Currie Cup, and again, last week we had 2 tries against us, which is probably testament to the work that he's doing, because the Sharks had a really, really good side. So again, we're looking forward to seeing him grow, especially the next game or two. Will really, really test us, and we'll know where we are. So I wish him all the best going forward.
And this weekend, I suppose you support the Cheetahs, so we can have a final at Loftus.
No, not really. That's immaterial for us. The people that we're supporting is the Bulls, and then we'll worry about what comes after that.
One last question about your depth at 10. Jaco was injured last week. You said now he's out injured as well. You've got Johan as your main contender. Are you happy with the depth at 10? Not just for the Currie Cup, but going forward? Is Buta, who's your bench 10? I can't remember now, sorry.
Yes.
Well,
Isn't one?
there's versatile options.
So Keegan, for example.
Look, let me put it this way. With the adversity that we've been dealt with, we've really been able to come out and we've unearthed gems that maybe, had we been in a comfortable place, we wouldn't have tried. And now we were forced to try certain things, and now we've seen Keegan play at 10 in a competitive game. Buta obviously is we know he's going to come in and do his thing at 10 or 15 for that matter. So we are really, really comfortable with where we are in terms of the depth and the way forward where we are at 10. So there's no issues there.
And Jaco's injury, how bad is it?
No. Probably just a couple of weeks. So there's no serious where he's going to be missing out for a lengthy amount of time rather.
How was your first season as a Currie Cup coach and of one of the big unions? Probably
Lovely. It's actually, I'm looking for a word that maybe describes you. You almost want to pinch yourself and to just feel alive and just it's surreal. It's surreal. One of the biggest clubs, not just in South Africa, I'm talking globally, because yesterday, and the wealth of just the history that's on you, and I don't take anything for granted. I appreciate every single day when I come into work, when I leave work, about how lucky I am to have been afforded the opportunity that I have.
And you're seeing a long future for yourself,
at the Bulls?
Yeah.
If you're asking me, No. I'm not looking too far forward or anything. I'm just in the moment, and I'm enjoying myself as much as I can at the minute.
I bumped into Frick de Pre downstairs, and this goes to show now. I bumped into him 4 times. He thought I was stalking me, I'm sure. Anyway, well done. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.